Hey friends, Jordan Woods Robinson here from AMC's The Walking Dead and Blue Man Group, and this is PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture. We're a geek podcast for geek culture, so are you ready to get your geek on? Sit back, relax, grab some gluten-free, non-GMO popcorn, and let's dive into the world pop culture bliss.
I hope you guys are ready. PopX returns for 2019. I hope you have your seatbelts on. It's going to be a wild ride tonight.
I'm David S. Dawson from the Intellectual Podcast, a show that spotlights creatives from all walks of life, part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other incredibly geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
You are listening to PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture.
Captain's Log Supplemental.
PopXcast.
Hasta la vista, baby.
All right, and welcome everyone. This is PopXcast coming to you on 2019. Austin Burke. Oh my God, dude. I feel like I haven't seen your beautiful face in such a long time. How are you doing, dude?
Man, it has been, you told me this before we started the show, it's been a month since our last show, and
I know, man.
It hurt to be without you guys, but I'm so happy to be back. What a show we're coming back with, too, covering both DC and Marvel, man. This is jam-packed. It's
going to be great. It is going to be great. And, you know, reason we took off January, I had so much stuff going on in my personal life and just a lot of things. I'm like, okay, I need a month just to reset, recalibrate, kind of refocus on a couple of things. And, you know, just kind of allow myself a little time because, you know, I had been running crazy. Just got off vacation, had the holidays. And I'm like, you know what? I need some time to just kind of find my moment of zen, if you will. Find my moment of zen. But it is definitely good to be back here. I want to say hello to all of our amazing people joining us right now on Facebook Live. Hey, Facebook Live, how the heck are you? PopX is back. Oh, yeah, episode 89 coming to you right now live. But I want to thank everybody right now for joining us, too, on PopX.live as well. Austin Burke, how was your holiday?
Oh, man, it was wonderful. You know, I feel like it flew by and went straight back to work and everything went back to normal. But for what I got, it was wonderful. Got to see family.
Nice.
We're back doing PopX.
Did you get to go back to Kentucky any?
I did. I went back to the hometown Pikeville.
Pikeville, Kentucky?
Pikeville, Kentucky.
Well, daggone, son.
And actually, we went and visited my family and Madison's family because that's what you do when you're married.
That's what you do. Yeah, you got to keep that going. Just sit right there. But anyway, that's cool, man. Yeah, pretty much we stayed here locally. We went to Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge. I think it was, we had already come back and done episode 88 by that time. But it was really fun. We had a good holiday, had a good New Year. And I think it was just a really blessed time, man. I have nothing else to say, but I do have this to say. Are you ready to do this show?
Been ready.
All right, let's do it. Let's kick it off here on the right foot. As we want to say, hey guys, welcome to PopX, where science fiction meets pop culture. I'm your host, Joseph Burke, Central Florida's seasoned retro comic book nerd and enthusiast. Now, we'd like to welcome everyone joining us live and at PopX.live as well. Come and join the chat room live, and the chat room's here on Facebook Live. So if you go to facebook.com/PopXcast, you'll be able to find the live stream and us and interact with us right here in real time. If this is your first time tuning into PopX, I want to say the first 20-25 minutes of the show, we typically go over news, what we like to call geek headlines, and then we go right into the rest of the show towards the end of the second half. So if you've never tuned in, you don't know what's going on, how we do things, so we right off the top of the bat, it's news. Then we get right into the meat and potatoes of it. So there you go.
I like the meat and potatoes.
I like some taters.
That sounds good.
Hi,
I'm Austin Burke. I am the Appalachian Geek at Heart. Be sure to head over to Google Play or iTunes after the show. Click that subscribe button if you like podcasts and catch up on some amazing shows from the archive. And while you're there, we certainly appreciate you guys showing us some love by leaving us a 5-star rating and review. And if you missed episode 88, where we basically raved about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, check our official website at PopXcast.com for this and other great past shows from PopX collective archive of geek goodness.
Geeky goodness. I love when you say geeky goodness. You know what I'm saying? Well, you ready to hit some news, bro?
Oh, dude,
Let's do it. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
Extra, read all about it. This is PopX News. Coming to you live
This
right
debate
on PopXcast.
Why does it have to be Fox News?
Of course it does.
It's fake news. Anyway, I ain't even want to go down that rabbit hole. Let's not even cater to that. All right, so right off the top of the bat this week, the potential for the Merc with the Mouse in the House of the Mouse. The Merc with the Mouth in the House of the Mouse. I don't think I said that. That's a mouthful to say. The Merc with the Mouth in the House of the Mouse. Can you say that? Anyway, Disney CEO Bob Iger confirmed that there won't be any interference, by the studio when it comes to more R-rated properties they're gaining as a part of the 20th Century Fox acquisition. Now, when asked about the nature of the studio releasing these types of movies after the acquisition is complete, Iger specifically called out the success of the Deadpool franchise and said, "We're going to continue in that business, and there might be even room for more of that."
You better continue, man, because this Deadpool 2 just passed the previous film as the highest grossing X-Men movie of all time. You cannot do anything different with this franchise. You need to continue on the route that it was going when it was under the Fox banner. Now it's still under the Fox banner officially, but now it's under the Fox Marvel banner, whether it's allowing him to join the MCU, which is possible now, or keeping him in his own universe. Keep Deadpool going, because you're going to make all the money and the fans will be happy, and that's the most important thing.
You know what? 5 years ago, I never dreamed we would be sitting here talking about a Deadpool franchise.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh,
you know, think about it, man. 5 years ago was when Ryan Reynolds leaked that test footage on YouTube. Remember that?
Dude, and that's what got it done. Man.
That's what got it done, dude. They saw the potential and what could be done with that.
Going underneath that studio, and that is now owned by Disney. So, haha.
And now the Merc with the Mouse is making millions, if not billions, around the world. I have no idea. Deadpool is an entire franchise all of its own.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
That's crazy. And he's the only one that's going to continue into the MCU.
I know.
They're letting everything else go.
Yep.
That is insane to me. But moving on to someone else that is also successful after hitting it big with Thor Ragnarok, director Taika Waititi is anxious to jump into another Marvel gig, which is exciting, but he's still contemplating which one. It certainly won't be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He cited his reasoning for not wanting to direct Guardians 3, which he believes is a series that does not belong to him. He says, for me, those are James's films. Going into something like that with his stamp all over those films would be like going into someone's house and saying, hey, I'm your new dad, and this is how we make peanut butter sandwiches now. It feels kind of awkward. So his stance, he does not want to take over what James Gunn.
That is a very mature, educated, well-rounded answer to that. Yeah.
As off the cuff too.
Well, I'm hoping that he can come back and do maybe Black Panther or something, one of those,
Waititi, he is now firmly in the Marvel Universe, in my opinion, and he will come back, like he said. But I think all of these directors within the MCU, if they bring on a new director for Guardians 3, which they will, it will be someone new.
They're going to have to.
These guys aren't. They're not touching it because they know how good James does. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, they're either going to have to do, how we've had a different director for every Thor movie? Like, they're probably going to have to do something along those lines where somewhere down the way you're going to get a different version of Guardians than you've seen before, where, you see Thor in the first two films, Thor is the same with the long golden hair, but then you get to Thor 3 and you're like, what universe happened here? But Waititi did an amazing job. And I think, honestly, it kind of catapulted Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame into a whole new element with Waititi's stamp into that.
Yes, a lot of that humor carried over into the next
Absolutely.
Which I liked a lot. I liked it a lot.
All right. Moving along here, it's official. Ben Affleck will no longer be donning the iconic Batman cape and cowl.
Wow.
Now, rumors have been circulating for months now regarding the Batman vs. Superman star's real status. And now it's pretty much been set in stone. Affleck, who was originally slated to write and direct the standalone film, The Batman, took to Twitter and he said, and I say this with quotes, excited for The Batman in summer 2021 and see that Matt Reeves' LA vision come to life, end quote. And so, he's kind of just saying he's done with it. He's signed off of it. But I think Ben Affleck, too, has also been battling some of his own demons from what he's been facing. And I don't want to say anything, off the cuff or what I'm not educated about or in the know, but I know he's been struggling with some stuff. And so, I don't know if it's stemming from this or just the act and the role of just playing Bruce Wayne is a lot on him physically and mentally. So, Austin, you got anything to add to that?
It is. It's a difficult thing to approach. We saw it with Hugh Jackman. Of course, he did it for a lot longer, but he eventually became worn down physically. And I feel kind of the same thing for Ben Affleck, except there's just a lot of things going on in his personal life, a lot of scrutiny that he got for the character. And I just want to say, I don't think he was a bad Batman. I think some of the writing for his character and some of the movies that he was in wasn't necessarily the best, but I think if we would have had him in a Christopher Nolan movie, I think he would have slayed it. Slayed it. So I can't blame him, and I hope he does well in all of his ventures, and it's sad to see him go.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. On a side tangent, Austin, is there a way we can get a little more volume on your microphone?
Yeah, I guess I can turn it up. Is that better?
Yeah.
Turn the gain up.
There you go. Thank you.
Is it too loud?
No, you're good, baby.
Okay,
Why I'm on this tangent? Let's just stop and look at your background for a minute. I want to drag you in the feature window here.
Oh, jeez.
So we have Joker riding down the road in City of Gotham. We have Thanos' head on a cup. We have a Star Wars young Anakin lightsaber artwork.
Oh, yeah, the little Obi-Wan.
Oh my God, dude. There's so much geeky
hang
good.
on, Joe.
What?
We got to look at the best piece of artwork. Now, where do you think I got this from? Where did I get this from?
Oh, man. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who the artist is, so you'll have to tell me. I can't read the signature there.
I believe that says Joseph Burke.
Oh.
So this is...
Well, speaking of Batman, while we're talking about Affleck, that's a really nice looking piece of artwork. I do have to say that.
nice little shout out to the artist. I don't know who.
Oh man, you're funny, dude. Anyway,
all
all right, moving on from Batfleck.
Yeah, let's talk about some. Move on from something else, something in the DC universe to something else, and that is Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman's director Patty Jenkins, love that woman, has an idea for where a third installment could go. She does not expect Wonder Woman 3 to be set in the past. Jenkins said, "I'm not set, but I'm doing another period piece. I'm not set to be doing another period piece. I lost where I was. Because where are you going to go? You have to go forward. It's definitely a contemporary story. That's all I can say. Where we put it and how things get figured out, I haven't totally nailed that down. Now, the fact that Wonder Woman 2 has not come out yet, but we're looking at Wonder Woman 3, that has to be a testament to how good the first movie was and how good of a director Patty Jenkins is. And really, if this was anyone else, it would be, is she even coming back for the third movie? Of course she's coming back for the third movie.
Yes.
She slayed it with Wonder Woman 1, and I'm sure Wonder Woman 2 is going to have just as good critical appraisal and box office results as the first one, so I can't wait to see where she goes. But first off, we have to see how Wonder Woman 2 does, because I hope that movie's good.
Yes. And so, hey, what's up, Kyle Harden? Kyle Harden, one of my guys from church, is tuning in and watching. What's up, Kyle? But I think I'm really excited for Wonder Woman 84, just because, you know, one, it's set in the 80s. And then I'm interested to see how Chris Pine's character comes back. How's that going to go? I mean,
blowing my mind.
I mean, how what's going to happen there? Is there some kind of time leap or?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but I'm excited for it, and I'm sure it's going to be 80s retro glory goodness, dude.
See, that's one thing that I really love about Patty Jenkins is she's not afraid to take risks. It's not like, oh, we have to set it 5 years after the original. She said, no, we're going to jump into the 1980s and give you a movie that hopefully has a great soundtrack and a great, like you said, retro feel. I'm really excited for that, man. That could be something really cool.
Yeah, if it's done well, I'm sure it'll
if
be
it's done well,
fantastic.
that's the thing.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on here to some more news about our beloved Mr. Let's see what we got. All right, Ghostbusters. Yes, we need to talk about Ghostbusters before we go anywhere else right now. The latest entry in Sony's Ghostbuster franchise is moving right along. And if you've been watching the internets, you know that there was a teaser that came out a couple of weeks ago.
Couldn't believe it.
And the Jason Reitman-helmed flick has a release date. The Untitled Ghostbusters threequel will be released July 10th, 2020. Now, the movie will pick up after the events of Ghostbusters 2. What?
That's crazy.
What? Please tell me they got Rick Moranis. Please tell me they've got Rick Moranis signed on for this.
Out of retirement?
Oh, dude, they have. Are you the Keymaster? You know, doubling down on the confirmation, it will be set in the same universe as the original two first Ghostbuster films. Now, Reitman receives the baton from his father, Ivan Reitman, the director and producer of Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. Oh, yes, keep it in the family. According to Jason, it's a dream come true to follow in his father's footsteps in one of the largest pop culture franchises of all time. God, who are you going to call?
I can't believe they're going down this path. And, you know, after the, and I hate to say it, the mixed to negative reception of the Ghostbusters reboot, this is really the only thing they could do. And they're going to do something because it makes a lot of money. This is a franchise that brings in the box office receipts. So I figured they would do something different, but I did not know they were going to go back to the same well. And I'm okay with that because I love me some Ghostbusters.
It'll be interesting to see how they do with Egon's character when the actor passed away, how they're going to tackle that, or if will he be a CGI part of the film with a voice actor to come in and reprise the role?
That's a good point, man.
That's a hard one. But I think honestly we deserve the reboot that we needed. Not a reboot, but we deserved the proper Ghostbusters sequel. Now, no disrespect to the one that came out a couple of years ago. It was okay.
It was fine. It was fine.
It was
okay.
Wasn't
bad. I think a lot of people were just upset that it was this female cast taking over the male cast, yada, yada. I watched the movie. I'm like, that's a movie.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It happened. It wasn't the worst
thing
in the world. Yeah, but this is cool. I'm happy we have this. So
yes, same.
Moving on to...
I know.
This is bringing me down, man. It's been a while since Stan Lee's passing in November.
Can we just stop? Can we just see? What? I can't believe we're covering this news right now. I'm just like...
How long has it been?
It's like a week before my birthday, bro.
Dude, it's been 3 months since
November the
passed away.
12th is when he passed away, wasn't
Are you kidding me?
it? Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway,
Mine
go
is
ahead.
blowing right
Go
now.
ahead. I'm sorry.
But the world still hasn't stopped mourning, and us, the death of the Marvel comic book legend. Lee's fans and peers continue to celebrate the legacy of the pop culture kings that the Kings left behind with touching posts, videos, and all sorts of tributes. Now it looks like the most recent tribute comes from Marvel Comics, with every new issue featuring a classic Stan soapbox message from July 1961. It's a pretty delightful tribute. Not only does it allow fans to return to the heyday of Marvel Comics, but it also allows them to go into Lee's mind, reading the poignant, informative, touching, and funny stories that all come from the Marvel comic book legend. What an awesome tribute.
And I wish I would have grabbed one off my box, because I go once a week to my local comic book shop and pick up the comics, and there's a black strip across all the Marvel comics for January and February that says Stan Lee.
Wow.
Oh shoot, what was it, like 19?
The 67?
No, his birth date. It was like
I don't know.
I can't remember. It's like 1908 to anyway. It's got that up top in the black strip, and it is just so. And here's the cool thing on all these comics, and I wish I could just run in there right quick, but I can't. We got Mike here. What's up, Mike?
I just wanted to, after I had read that story, I thought it was pretty interesting about doing the Stan soapbox, and I came across this that I wanted to share.
Oh, what is this?
Every single Stan soapbox since from 1967 to 1980.
Wow.
And it was been published by the Heroes Initiative. For anybody who doesn't know what it is, it's a nonprofit organization that helps comic creators, financially, or helps with any kind of medical bills.
Mind
so
blown.
I picked that up right away, and it's got it's all 144. And they have other issues on Amazon, but this particular one is put out by the Heroes Initiative. So the money goes to the funds that help comic book artists, or have financial challenges.
Is that on Amazon, Mike?
What's that?
Is that an Amazon purchase?
No, there is a version on Amazon, but this particular version is put out by the Heroes Initiative.
So you have to go directly through them, the Heroes Initiative?
I didn't think I would have had it in time, but I ordered it about 3 days ago, and it came in today.
Oh my God, dude, that's crazy awesome.
From 1967 to 1980, all 144.
Jeez.
Through Stan soapbox. But I started reading. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Jeez.
You never got a chance to read any of the old stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And to tag on to what Mike was saying, the comics that they're releasing now, I think it's going to end right at the end of this month for February for the memorial pieces that's coming out. But when you turn the page, it's black on both sides inside the inner cover. Where normally it would list the inkers and the authors, it's just a black commemorative, like the moment of silence before you read the comic. Dude, it's so well done.
That's heartbreaking,
so
man.
well done.
Wow.
All right, so let's move on with the depressing stuff, and we love our Stan Lee though, and we'll continue on with that. And just
Mike with the nuggets.
Mike dropping the nuggets, bro. I'm telling
that,
you. All right, so Deadpool co-creator Rob Liefeld confirmed that Deadpool, Batter Blood, will be his final story featuring the Merc with the Mouth. Now, on Instagram, Liefeld revealed that his last take on the character will unfold in Deadpool Batter Blood, a sequel to 2017's Deadpool Bad Blood. He described the story as his last chance with Wade Wilson. Last chance, Liefeld captioned with a sneak peek, which showed Deadpool raising hell with his signature weapons. Now, these are shots from Deadpool's Batter Blood, a project I'll complete right after the Major X wraps. This one is both a hoot and a holler and will be my definitive and last word with Deadpool. He begged me to be a part of the Major X, so I let him play in that sandbox as long as he was nice to others. You definitely won't want to miss that one. So Deadpool story, it looks like Liefeld is coming back to Marvel for a season.
It's his last dance. I mean, that's what it is. Rob Liefeld is one of the better, his creations, his style, the way that he wrote Deadpool to bring him to life, everything that he did with that character is phenomenal. And here's a fun story that I just thought I would tell. A coworker of mine just figured out a few months ago that her second cousin is Rob Liefeld. she didn't know who he was because she knows nothing about it, but she was Googling everything and researching. She's like, Austin, you'll probably know this. Do you know who a Rob Liefeld is? Apparently he creates comic books. I'm like,
Whoa!
what? I told her,
Are you
next day we're
freaking
gonna
kidding
get-
me?
I'm going. I want to go.
Mind blown.
It's like I work with. Oh, they're very different people, but yeah, it was very cool to find out. So yeah, Rob Liefeld, man, one of my favorite comic book creators, and he's going to be missed after this with Deadpool for sure.
Yeah, but you know what? It's really cool to see him like actually have a moment where he has the relationship with Marvel to come back for one last hurrah, and just kind of, you know, he's a character he created, and he could take the character any direction he wants to because it's a character that Liefeld created.
That's his baby, man.
It's his baby, dude.
Yeah, let's keep talking about X-Men. So the
X-Force.
future of the X-Men series under the ownership of Disney has many unanswered questions, many, which even includes the films that have been previously given theatrical release dates. One rumor regarding the New Mutants, which currently has an August 2nd release date, is that the film could actually, if it ever debut on Hulu. An outcome X-Men franchise producer Lauren Schuler Donner would hate to see. They worked hard on it, Schuler Donner says about this film's production team on a Television Critics Association panel. I want to see it released theatrically. I'd hate to see it thrown on Hulu. She also noted that she was hopeful that the film would ultimately hit theaters on its currently scheduled release date.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
man.
Sure. Yeah, I'm saying Hulu.
I'm saying Hulu as well.
If it doesn't get pulled.
Well, what is this? The third time it's been bumped back? We were supposed to have seen this film back in October, dude.
Yeah, this was supposed to be out. And before that,
Yeah.
like April. They moved it like 3 times.
I know, dude. I know. They moved it because of April because of Avengers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for
You,
sure.
you can't compete with that. This would have bombed. Yeah.
Here's what sucks, though. I'm going to go into X-Men Dark Phoenix, and I'm going to be sad. Even if the movie ends up being good, which I'm hearing it's a train wreck. But even if the movie ends up being good, what's it matter? It's being rebooted. Who cares? Like, I don't want to have that mentality, but I can't help shake that feeling because we know it's the final time we're going to see those heroes.
You make a good point. It's almost as if Fox knows this is their last hurrah with the X-Men franchise with Fox's umbrella.
Crazy.
And I don't think Disney's going to let them release it.
Dude,
I don't think Disney's going to let them release it.
I'm telling you, watch them both get pulled.
They will both get pulled, and I think the Dark Phoenix, I think it'll either go to Netflix or Hulu or maybe Prime. Or a digital release like DC does with their short films.
Yes. And back to the point of I'm hearing bad things. Here's what I'm hearing about Dark Phoenix.
Oh, God.
Fantastic Four.
That bad, huh?
That bad. The new one. That bad. Yeah. That's what I heard. Multiple people.
Is James McAvoy even in the film?
Oh, he's in the film. Fassbender, McAvoy, Lawrence, all the
But
actors.
why would you get an army of amazing talent and just defecate all over the script?
I love this cast, man.
That's unreal.
Depressing to hear.
That is insane, dude.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of chaps my butt a little bit. But anyway, moving along here. We're spending too much time. We're getting close to that halfway point here. The CW announced that it had renewed its entire slate of superhero shows, including the likes of Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, Black Lightning, The Legends of Tomorrow. A renewal for Legends of Tomorrow would take the series into its 5th season. While Arrow receives an 8th season, The Flash gets season number 7, and Black Lightning is renewed for the 3rd, and Supergirl will be flying into her 5th. The CW has also ordered the pilot for Batwoman, Ruby Rose-led show featuring the version of Kate Kane, which we saw in Elseworlds crossover, which she did a phenomenal job in as well. Might I just say that? Though the show only has a pilot order of now, it's seemingly confirmed that it'll be receiving a series order as well. Now, I do know that they were juggling with the idea since Henry Cavill came out of the Superman franchise to let the guy that's playing Superman right now, I don't know his name off the top of my head, so all you CW-ites and Arrowverse-ites don't be coming at me like, you should know his name. No, I know Christopher Reeve. I know Brandon Roth. I know... Sorry.
A lot of Supermen, a lot of names.
A lot of names. Even Dean Cain. I know Dean Cain, but
yeah, this is interesting, man. I'm so behind on these series.
I am poorly behind. I just caught up on Gotham.
I watched Elseworlds. I didn't even watch the rest of any of the seasons yet. I just watched Elseworlds. Elseworlds was great.
Yeah.
By the way, it was very cool, but I've watched nothing else. I'm so behind.
Yeah.
There's no much television.
I don't have much for that. But, I think, honestly, I think there will be a season to where I can catch up on some things. I mean, I'm not too far behind. I'm only maybe like a season or maybe a half season behind.
Oh, yeah.
So I can watch an episode right now and kind of almost know where I'm at. But
with these shows, absolutely.
And I still want to watch Legion Season 2, which I haven't even gotten to yet.
Me too. Good Lord, Joe. There's a lot.
So much.
Speaking of a lot, let's talk about Avengers Endgame.
All right.
My body's going to quiver.
Oh, boy.
With Avengers Endgame a little over 2 months away from opening, directors Anthony and Joe Russo have provided some updates on the film, including the possible runtime being 3 hours.
Gasp.
I think the studio is down with what the best story is right now. We think the movie is playing well, and we've heard great responses from our test audiences, and we're feeling very good about where it is, Joe Russo revealed. We're still doing work to it. Of course they are. We're still doing work to it. We're not done with it. Again, this is the culmination of 22 movies. It's a lot of storytelling to work into it. Emotion is an intrinsic part of that to us. And intrinsic, when you have to tell a really complicated story and you want a strong emotional moment from characters, it just requires a certain amount of real estate. There's a high probability that this film will clock in around 3 hours. It's a big movie with a lot of story. Also, according to a new rumor, Avengers Endgame will have an intermission in order to help Marvel fans get through the lengthy runtime. Hey, if you want to have a 9-hour movie and give me 4 intermissions, that's fine. I'm there for it. Have my money. Let's go.
The first Marvel Cinematic Universe film with an intermission. Dang.
The last time there was an intermission during a movie
was Titanic. No, it was Titanic. Because I clearly remember, now all right, seriously, Joe, as a teenager, all right, so it was all over the news. I had to go see what the hype was about, Titanic, near, far, wherever. Anyway, so I had to go see what the hype was about. And daggone it, there was an intermission in that. And I was like, this is so weird. I'm getting up and going to the bathroom, grabbing a hot dog.
Yeah, it was weird.
And there was a countdown in the lobby. The film will begin in 5 minutes.
Wow. See, I've never seen one.
You've never seen an intermission film?
Never seen.
Wow.
No, in the theater. I've never seen one.
That's crazy, dude. Well, seriously, this was at a time before digital release, so it was still reel to reel. So the reels were sent to the movie, the actual theaters, the night before, and so the reels were only so long. They didn't have mega reels at the time, so they would have to actually do the intermission, change the reels out while everybody went and used the restroom, and then come back for 5 minutes.
That is wild.
Oh yeah, dude. Why am I explaining that to you? That is so weird. It just hit my head. I was like, wait, I'm explaining to him something that involves cassettes and tapes and reels, and you're getting old when.
Yeah. Shit. Dude, that's crazy. Yeah.
Oh man.
Listen, give me all the intermissions you want. That's fine. The longer this film, in my opinion, the better. Now, the only reason why I think they wouldn't do this is box office. This is going to mean less screenings.
Yeah.
If they do. But Marvel says, you know what? We're going to go quality over money. We have all the money.
Oh, yeah.
We want a quality film, so I am 1,000% on board.
Amen. Me too, bro. So we're excited for April, right?
Okay.
All right. Last one of the week here on the news, and we'll finally get into our main segment. Aquaman has soared past $1.1 billion at the box office, and now it's on its way to home video. Aquaman will land on digital platforms on March 5th, and then it will hit the DVD Blu-ray 4K market on the 26th of March. The home video edition will also come loaded with extra featurettes, including Becoming Aquaman, Heroines of Atlantis, The Kingdoms of the Seven Seas, but it will also come with an exclusive 3-minute sneak peek at Warner Bros. And DC's other upcoming superhero film, Shazam.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so I'm down for that. So we get a little sneak peek, a little taste of Shazam. I'm pretty excited about that. So
this is a movie that, if you look at its intake in China, I mean, it did good in America, but it's still not it's like right where Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman was. Let's look at China for a second.
Okay.
My God, it made all of the money in the world, and they were going crazy over this film. And this is the movie. Mm-hmm. Mark it down. This is the movie that DC says, we have it. We know we had Wonder Woman, but we really have it here with the all-time highest DC movie of all time. Not DC Universe. It passed The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises in box office.
Well,
all-time DC movie.
You know, I'm not really surprised. Jason Momoa is a very well-seasoned actor. I did get to see him in the first season of Game of Thrones, and I've seen him in several other things that he's done over the time. But I will say this, and I'm not comparing DC or Marvel, so don't get me on that bandwagon, but I'm just saying, I think that Aquaman became Marvel's Black Panther, where they created a film and they didn't expect it to exceed as well as it did, and it just blew up.
Yeah, it did.
So
It did.
I think if you're looking at it in terms, Aquaman is Warner Brothers' Black Panther.
You couldn't have said it better. I mean, nobody expected Black Panther to hit $1 billion.
No,
Boom, it does it.
It
Nobody
did.
expected Aquaman to hit $1 billion. Boom, it does it. Let's look at the year of 2018.
Yep.
Infinity War, Black Panther, Aquaman, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and so on and so forth. Venom making $800 million.
Venom, dude.
What a year, man. What a year for comic book.
I know. And if you look at the lineup for 2019, starting next month, it's going to get crazy, bro. It's going to get crazy. So that reaches the end of our headlines this week, guys. Man, I mean, I know it was a mouthful. There's a lot to cover. But now we're going to transition over into the meat and potatoes of the podcast, which we actually talk about Aquaman, and we're going to talk about The Punisher Season 2, and also a really hot topic on a lot of people's plates right now. Why is all the Marvel shows pulling from Netflix and getting canceled? We're going to answer that question here in just a few, so hang with us. I'm going to roll the spoiler alert warning. All right, so if you've not seen Aquaman or you've not seen The Punisher Season 2, then you may want to hit the pause button, go check it out. But if you don't care, hey, just hang with us. We'll be right here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Danger. You are about to enter a PopX spoiler alert. Beyond this point, there is no return. You have been warned.
All right, you have been warned. We rolled that beautiful bean footage, and now it's time to just get right in here and talk about Aquaman. Oh my gosh. So I'll go first, and then I think Mike's going to come in. He's going to jam with us for a little bit. So Aquaman. Let's talk Aquaman. For me, it felt like beautifully done. I'll say that first and foremost. It felt like the cinematic-scapes under the water. It's almost felt like Pixar doing Dora or Nemo, but with more of an edgier vibe. Because I mean, you got the luminescent flowers and the plants and the fish and all the aquatic, and the way that they did the hair underwater with the CGI was freaking brilliant. I went back and I had to see how they did the production, and they actually wore a green cap around it. Have you seen this, Austin? They wore a green cap. And so they only saw their face, and from here back, they recreated their hairline and did the flowing.
Wow.
Every character.
By the way, how was this not nominated for visual effects at the Oscars?
Right?
What is this?
I mean, this film visually is stunning.
Are you kidding? What a snub. Ugh.
I know. But what won at the Academy Awards just the other day was, it's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse won for Best Animation.
Oh yeah, it's won every award. So the Oscars are 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
It's won every animation award so far. So if it does not win at the Oscars, it is officially rigged.
Well,
officially.
In terms of Aquaman, though, I thought the acting was awesome, and I thought the enemy. There was like two enemies in this. There were two big bads. There was an antagonist enemy, which was Black Manta, and then you had the main one, which was what was his name? Ocean Master. Ocean Master, played by Lorraine Warren's husband from the Conjuring series. But anyway,
great actor too. They got a high quality talent.
Dude, I love that dude. I love him to death. He's a great actor. But I thought, honestly, the storytelling, it really painted the picture of Arthur Curry's humble beginnings, how a woman was fleeing but due to marriage issues, and she was trying to get away from it, and she was trying to get away from this routine and this ritual, fell in love with a lighthouse keeper. I mean, what a beautiful little story. And it's almost like, it reminded me a lot of like Themyscira and from Wonder Woman, how, she was literally birthed from the gods, so to speak. And he was birthed from a half god, half human. So he's a demigod, and he has all this amazing, crazy power. And the scene where he's at the water tank as a child at school, and everybody's picking on him, he's getting bullied, and all of a sudden that shark starts banging against the glass. It's like, you leave him alone, he's part of me. Okay. And then everything just starts coming around. I'm like, visually on the screen when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that's beautiful.
It's splendor. I mean,
It is.
Splendor, this whole movie.
I loved Ocean Master's costume too. That royal blue color and the chrome.
That final battle with both of them in their
Oh my God, dude. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad for Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. I mean, it pains me because we've already seen them in Batman versus Superman. We've already seen them in Dawn of Justice, Justice League. And it hurts a little bit knowing that this, Gal Gadot and Momoa, and they're all not going to be able to jive anymore as the team that we know. And that's kind of a little sucky because now the Justice League trifecta has officially been broken up. Are they still planning a Flash film, by the way? Is that still?
Last I heard, Flash was in development, but it's not looking good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if they can ride on the waves, no pun intended, of Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
Oh, Joe, real quick, did you see the announcement of the film that just got announced by Warner Brothers, DC? The Trench.
The what?
The Trench. You know the scene in Aquaman where they go down into the trench with all of the demon creatures? This is a horror film set in the DC universe called The Trench. It is a spin-off of Aquaman. And I thought it was a joke. And it's legit. It's a legit movie.
Why don't they just call it The Meg Part 2?
I swear. They just announced this before Aquaman.
Okay, that's a little stupid. I don't know about that.
Look it up, man. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was something from The Onion. It's not.
The Onion.
I swear.
Okay, moving on. Aquaman, I thought the story was great. I thought that how they set up the characters, the enemy, the villain. I loved how they did with Black Manta, how they set up, him as the big bad, how he was a mercenary. But, yeah, and the Atlanteans are the one that gave him the technology to form the mask and the beams. I thought it was really good. Austin, I want to hear what you... Well, let's go over to Mike. Let's let Mike have the limelight for a little bit, because I think he's wanting to chime in, because I know Mike is a huge Aquaman DC fan as well. So, Mike, what you got to say about it?
Yeah, it's not much more to kind of add what you said. I mean, I just enjoyed the visuals. It was amazing. I got to see it in 3D IMAX, so that kind of amplified a little bit better for me.
Nice.
Just the characters and the origin story, and I'm really hoping now with this kind of money that Aquaman's made, it just this kind of is the boost that DC needs, and I am hoping Walter Hamada's on the right track with this now, and we get to see the movies that the way they should have been made instead of thrown together and becoming a disaster. And I hate what you said about the Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. And this is kind of the breakup of Justice League as we kind of knew it, but. If this is what they're going to do, where they're going to have these separate films, that's I think the best way to handle it. Have each of these characters, and I really do hope they do something with the Flash film, because that was one I was really looking forward to.
Yeah, me too.
Characters, the story was great. The visuals were amazing.
And that TARDIS blanket behind you is pretty rocking too, by the way. I mean, come on, man. That's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I agree with you, man. I think that Aquaman was really well done. Yeah. It was really well done, and it's definitely a movie that's got rewatchability to it. Yeah. And
Patrick Wilson was amazing. I mean, I loved him in The Watchmen, and then when I found that he was in this, then I was thrilled to see that. I enjoyed him, watching him as an actor, but it was just a great movie, and I'm going to definitely get it once it gets available on digital, and I'll be able to watch it.
Same thing.
Many more times.
Well, hang on cam for a minute, Mike, because not only we're going to let Austin do his review, but then we're going to go right into our Hit It of the Week, which is going to kind of fall right into what we're talking about. Austin, what did you think of Aquaman?
I go back and look at movies like Suicide Squad and how that was such a huge miss, and even going back and watching Justice League, it's very Deadpool is the ultimate suicide.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're right. You're right. Deadpool is so much better. But I look at a movie like Justice League, and Justice League, while I got things out of it and slightly enjoyed moments, it doesn't work as well as a movie like Aquaman. I really enjoyed Aquaman. I don't quite love it because there were some things in there that I didn't love from a filmmaking perspective. You look at The chemistry, just to be a negative Nancy for just a second, the chemistry between Mera and Aquaman, I don't think worked very well. There were some lines in the film where I'm like, when he goes, I am Ocean Master. Okay. I am Black Manta. They both say that, by the way. But you said rewatchability, and I actually went back and watched this in preparation for this video, and you know what? It's got rewatchability, man. It really does. Keeps you entertained. The visuals are wonderful, and it's something that I could watch over and over just to see the craft from James Wan.
Yeah.
Right? This is a director that did movies like The Conjuring and really set up a universe in The Conjuring. But now he's, in my opinion, kind of taking over the reins for what DC, the direction that DC is going to go. From a visual standpoint, yes, inject the humor. And while I don't think the humor was Aquaman's strongest point, I still enjoyed a lot of it, and mostly because of Jason Momoa and how good he is as the character.
Right.
Very strong actor. He has that presence, that charisma that I think can carry a franchise. When you mix that with the talent of James Wan and the fight scenes, how the camera revolves around the actors while they're battling, I thought that was a wonderful choice. It gets a bit repetitive at times, and then I think there are some moments within the script I'm like, this could have been better. It's just a lot. The film is a lot to process. There are things in there that I think can improve in a sequel, but if I'm looking at it from a standpoint of how does it compare to the rest of the DCEU movies, in my opinion, it is you have Wonder Woman and Man of Steel, then you have Aquaman, and then you have everything else.
Right.
Like everything else is its own thing. Aquaman is going to keep this universe going. It's going to bring in all of the money in the world when they do a sequel. And hopefully The Trench is the best movie of the year when it comes out.
Okay. So there we have it. So if you haven't seen Aquaman yet, it's getting ready to come out in just a couple of weeks on, you can purchase it for digital release, and it's probably going to be like $19 or something like that. So definitely do it. If you've got a 4K TV, definitely do that because there's some beautiful details in there. So I'm going to go first. We're each going to review the film. We're going to go from 1 to 10.
Yeah.
All right. So I think based on what I initially remember, I'm going to give it an 88%.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to go 8.8. 8.8. Yeah. Mike, what are you going to give it?
I just loved everything about it. I know, Austin, you go a little more deeper into it, from your perspective, but I just love this as a whole. I'll give it definitely a 9. 9.
Nice. Give it some high marks here. Burke.
Well, I'm going to give it in my opinion, what is a good score? I'm going to give it a 7.4 out of 10. Really good, really rewatchable. Just when you watch it, you have to watch it like Joe said, 4K TV in all of its visual glory, because that's what it's got going for it.
Yeah.
It is visually spectacular. I think on Avatar level, honestly, it's that beautiful.
Yeah.
So please do yourself a favor and watch it in that form.
And I'm so happy how they did with all the underwater effects, the vocalizing underwater, the hair, the fluidity of everything just seems seamlessly.
Gorgeous.
So, all right, so that is Aquaman film review, and so we have an 8.8, a 9.0, and a 7.4. I think PopX is going to say this is certified. Go check it out, and definitely check it. Check it out, own it. So we're going to actually do something kind of different right now. We're going to kind of do a little bit in between Aquaman and the Punisher, a quick hit it of the week. Don't go nowhere.
And now it's time for PopX's of the Week.
All right, hit it of the week. And this week we have some cool stuff now. I have to give props to my beautiful wife. She did this, and she actually found these items for me. And so, having said that, it's pretty rad. I'm not going to lie. So I'm just going to dive into it, and I'm going to show you guys. You guys remember the vintage toy line from the 70s called Migos?
Oh, Lord.
Look what I found.
Oh, dude.
So Marty Abrams, the original guy, there's documentaries online about this guy, Marty Abrams. He is called the grandfather, the father of the action figure. He found the original molds for the original figures that he released in the 70s. And he's got I'm not going to show you the figure just yet, but look, he's got a commemorative line. Are you ready for this? I'm just going to pull this back real slow.
Oh, dude. Dude.
Look at the detail.
Where'd you get it?
Isn't that cool? Now, here's the cool thing. Marty Abrams, he actually got his picture on the back of the box. And if you've watched any of those shows like The Toys That Created Us or any of that, you'll know the name Marty Abrams. So this is unopened. This is from the original 70s cast, and these are only available at Target. All right. Now, Austin, I'm going to ask you a question, and this is something that blew my mind in a very positive way. How much do you think Marty is selling these for at Target? Just take a guess.
Is it high or low?
We're going to start with you first.
I'm just going to say, I'm going to say 100.
100? $19.99.
What?
$19.99. And look at this. There's Green Lantern. There's a Batgirl. He's got Poison Ivy. There's a Flash. A Martian Manhunter. $20 a piece.
Did you say Target?
Target.
All right.
There's even a Batman scheduled. All right,
awesome.
so that's item number 1. All right, now this is Joe's second hit it of the week, and then Mike's got one too that he's going to be rolling out. I'm a huge fan. I have 3 artists that inspire me creatively. Number 1 is Jack Kirby. All right, gotta go to Jack. Number 2 is Todd McFarlane. Number 3 is Alex Ross.
Oh, man.
Alex Ross just released this before Christmas. It is a visual representation of his art, his life, his legacy, and it shows, let me see if I can find this one picture here. It's really cool. It shows, like, what he did as a child versus what it looks like today. It's unreal. So in here, he's got all the characters from Marvel. Let me try to get this up here so I don't be in the open cover on it. I mean, just look at this artwork.
See, Alex Ross is my favorite comic book artist.
I mean, it's amazing, dude. And it's a story of how he got created. I mean, he went to the Chicago School of Art, and that's where he was formally trained as an artist. And from there, here, look at this. So this is when he was in elementary school. He would find things around the house and create little sculptures of his favorite characters. And then here it is in 2015.
My goodness.
So from the 70s to 2015. And this kind of like storytelling and stuff is littered throughout the entire thing. And so your favorite character is definitely in here. But not only are you getting that, you're getting a story from him and his perspective and how he got started in it. And he's very open about some of the things that he's done, like how he does his model casting. He has people that come in and he photographs them for the poses, and that's why his poses look so real. He doesn't just draw this stuff out of mind. He gets people to come in and pose, and those are the models and makeups that literally portray some of his most amazing creations. And this is a painting. That's a Silver Surfer, dude. So this is, now he's got a DC version of this as well. But this is the Marvel one, just came out, Marvelocity, Alex Ross. And I am definitely going to get the DC one as well. That way I have both of them. So definitely check this out. Alex Ross's artwork will blow you away. Now, if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast over on iTunes or Google Play, definitely come over to PopXcast.com, look up episode 89, and you'll be able to see all these visuals that you hear us talking about, okay? Now, we got one more left, and then we're going to transition into The Punisher and the Netflix discussion. Mike, what do you have for us? Da-da-da.
Okay, staying on track with Target seems to be the winner of the show tonight.
Target.
A few months ago, I did a review of the 4K Stranger Things box set that came out, but it's got the slip cover that's like a video cassette. And now they've come out with season 2.
Oh, wow.
And season 2 has got the old retro 80s style video rental case.
That's amazing.
And it's got even the plastic covering on it. You can probably see the reflection like you would normally get in the video store.
Look at that home video. Oh my God.
On the inside, it's got the Hawkins video sticker. This comes with a bunch of cards. And also behind the tape is the actual 4K discs.
What?
And this comes with both Blu-ray and 4K. And this is the first release to incorporate Dolby Vision. So if anyone decides they want to pick this up and has a Dolby Vision capable TV. This is one of the first releases. The other one was just the standard HDR.
Dolby Vision, for our listeners and viewers who aren't familiar with that, what is a Dolby Vision?
Dolby Vision is, right now I believe it's only exclusive to LG TVs, and it's basically Dolby Labs, like they have Dolby Atmos or even the Dolby Cinema.
Okay.
It's their own proprietary, I guess, video like they would have in Dolby Cinema.
Okay.
But this plays both Dolby Vision and HDR10.
Wow.
And it was another these are Target exclusive, both of those, season 1 and season 2. They were $29.99 a piece.
$30 a piece.
Yeah, definitely worth it for this packaging. And I mean, they have
That's
all the
nothing.
details. You know, it states it's VHS, and on the back it's got a caution: do not immerse underwater, do not expose to spores, do not play in the upside down. Doing so may damage cassette. So they've spared,
Spare no expense, in the words
no
of
expense, I
Jurassic
guess,
Park.
on it. But these are definitely worth it for the $30. They're definitely worth having.
That's
And I guess
awesome.
Once season 3 comes out, I'm sure they'll come up with another idea.
Nice.
But,
Well,
definitely worth it
if
for
I see the
$30.
Flash in this, Mike, I'll pick it up for you because I'll be seeing you this week.
Yes, please
So
do.
if I'm going to actually head over there and this week, and if they still have the Flash, I'll pick it up for you.
I would greatly appreciate that.
Sweet. All right, guys, we're going to transition now into the final segment of the show where we're going to give a quick little rundown of The Punisher Season 2 recap. And so The Punisher Season 2, we literally picks up right after the Season 1 on Netflix, and it's kind of a little bit of a bittersweet for me because I know probably what's going to happen with this entire franchise, and I hate that because John Bernthal is killing it as Frank Castle. But it picks up right after Season 1 where kind of Frank Castle is renegade, if you will, and Billy Russo is now, he's comatose in a hospital room after the events of what happened after the Season 1 when basically, the Punisher beat the crap out of Russo. And so the rest of the cast are trying to pick up the pieces after the events of Season 1, and Frank Castle basically is a nomad drifter. He's going from town to town, almost like how Bruce Banner did back in the old television show, how we would just go from town to town and just hobo around. That's pretty much what he's doing. And the season picks up right in one of the towns he's at in rural Michigan. And that's when all heck breaks loose. And so, Frank, I think the dynamic with, there's a young girl in this season as well that he has to protect. And you've got some really crazy people that are trying to blackmail and cross and try to get this girl killed because of the information that she has. They obtain the information from her laptop in episode 1, but they have to kill her because she knows what these dirty secrets are that she uncovered from them. And so this organization, this private firm has killed every friend around her except her. All of her friends that she knows is dead. Frank sees all this goes down in a bar, and he's just looking for trouble. Frank is just looking to get it in. And then when you have John, who comes in, who is actually a character that was spawned from the Punisher. He plays the Mennonite. In the comic books, that this character is called the Mennonite, but in here he's called John. And he's basically, every time you see him on camera, he's just got this glaze.
Menacing.
Dude, it's just like his eyes are like half, he just looks at you and he's like, you're about to die, and he just doesn't give a dang.
That's how Madison looks at me.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
Say that.
The more you know. But anyway, so I thought, honestly, though, as I don't want to give away as much because I know we did roll the spoiler alert warning, but I will have to say this: it was really cool seeing Billy Russo transition into Jigsaw.
Yes.
I could have done with a little more cuts on the face, more comic accurate, but I understand that's a lot more money for that kind of stuff. But honestly, the best thing about this series is the acting.
Oh, yeah, dude.
The acting is phenomenal. John Bernthal, when he's in these fights, he's like breathing, like, ugh. It's just guts. Pure guts, dude. And I love that about this guy. And it really, it's like I said, it's bittersweet knowing that what's going to happen is it's probably going to get canceled. This and Jessica Jones are the only two remaining. But honestly, from start to it's 13 episodes, and it was just phenomenal. I think the storytelling, there was parts that were kind of slow, but there were parts that needed to be slow to tell the story of what was going on. And all the characters and all the cast come back. Even Karen Page from Daredevil, she reprises her role. We see her again. And so it was really great. I thought the storytelling was great. And it ended on a really cool note where, you know, we see that there could be more future if it's permitted for the Punisher. Austin, before I give my review and stuff like that, I want to know what you thought about Punisher Season 2.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when I looked at like Rotten Tomatoes and saw the 50%, and I was looking at some of the critic scores, which I saw this after I reviewed it. I actually reviewed this the day it came out because I binged every episode and reviewed it Friday night. I loved this season.
I did too, man.
I loved this season, man. You talk about the acting.
The cinematography.
Oh, dude. This, in
Beautiful.
my opinion, may be the most professionally, this and Daredevil Season 3, the most professionally looking season of Marvel television we've ever seen. It looked phenomenal. The cinematography was good. Yes, the story does get a bit slow at times, and the pacing may suffer because of it, but I felt no such thing because I was so invested with this Logan-esque story of Frank and this girl. I believe her name was Amy. And both actors are just great. And every subtle conversation that they have, I'm in it. I'm invested into their storyline and where they're going to go. And then you look at Billy Russo, played by Ben Barnes, who a lot of people have been fan casting as Batman on Twitter. And I'm like, what? I'm okay with that.
Judging by what I saw here, he can do it.
Dude, he can do anything.
Did you see the image that they made about him? They put his face on the Dark Knight.
I can see that, dude.
I could see that too.
This man owned this role.
Even over Robert Pattinson.
I think I could. I mean, I love. This is a different tangent, but Robert Pattinson. I know he sucks in Twilight, and I hate that movie, but I could see him as Batman as well. But Ben Barnes may be my #1 casting choice after seeing Punisher Season 2 because he's so good, and the fights, man. That first bathroom fight alone, where he's pulling off sinks and hitting people over the head, and Amy gets in on the action. They're so brutal, they're so bloody and gory, and there's so many guns in this season of The Punisher. And I know that could be one reason why some critics are like, "Oh, there's too many guns, too much violence."
Oh, too much guns. Oh,
that's The Punisher. That's the Punisher. You're not watching My Little Pony. You're watching The Punisher. There's going to be guns. There's going to be blood. There's going to be violence. And it's all there on top of a story that is interesting. And yes, the ending comes and some things that happen may be a bit swift for some people, but I thought it was realistic. I thought what happens to Billy is realistic. I thought what happens to Frank towards the end of the story and how this kind of sets up for the future is realistic. And I was so invested in Season 2 of The Punisher. I like it just as much as the first season. I do.
I loved it how, you know, when Billy Russo was dying on his last breath in that little room where he met with his other veterans, and he called Frank, or no, he called his friends like, "Hey, I need you to come here, man. I'm dying," and evidently Frank got wind of that and came and did the deal himself.
Tender, emotional moment just capped off by Frank Castle. I mean, can you?
But if you've ever read any Punisher comic book, you know that, honestly, technically, they can actually write a comic book in an R rating format for the Punisher. I'm surprised it doesn't get like some kind of mature warning in those comics. But when you're doing anything with the Punisher, it has to be done, and that's where Netflix got it right. And not only on just Daredevil, but I think Luke Cage, and they started getting it right with Iron Fist Season 2. Jessica Jones, I'm not sure how I feel about that. They focus more on the private investigator and not the superhero, which I want to see more of the superhero. But Jessica Jones was canceled as well, right?
She has Season 3 coming out.
Yes, that's what I thought.
And then I think...
Yeah, Season 3 has already been filmed, right?
Already been filmed.
And so there's no more Defenders. There's none of that. So, you know, it's really sad because I was watching this and reminding myself, I was like, I'm never going to see John Bernthal in this role again. Oh. And it's killing me.
Man, Robert Downey Jr., Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, John Bernthal. Yeah. Charlie Cox is Daredevil. John Bernthal as the
John Bernthal is. I don't see him as Shane from Walking Dead anymore.
No.
I see him as John Bernthal, Frank Castle.
It's kind of like Jason Momoa. I don't see him as his character on Game of Thrones anymore. I see him as Aquaman. Same thing with Bernthal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same. So, and we're going to we have about 10 more minutes of the show. We're going to transition and talk about what is happening with these cancellations. But before we do that, Austin, what is your review rating for The Punisher?
I gave this an 8.6.
Nice.
And I thought it was wonderfully told, a great story, and just everything about. I was just so invested, man. Could not believe how some people were, and even in my comment, not just critics, there were people in my comment section saying I did not like this season. I'm like, I get it, but I loved it.
I did too. I gave it a 9.1.
Yeah,
a 9.1. I was sitting there looking at it, analyzing it, and there were some parts that were kind of slow. Not a lot of parts. We're talking very minute. We're really nitpicking here, because overall the season is just done beautifully. You don't need CGI, and you don't need all this crazy stuff, because Frank Castle is the weapon.
Simplistic.
I mean, he is simplistic. Wonderful. And so we got a 8.7, 8.6, and a 9.1. So definitely catch it on Netflix, and just kind of be thinking about that in your back of your mind. It's like, oh man, it kills me.
Didn't you watch it with just like a sadness in your heart, like
a little? Because I mean, John Bernthal gave literally 110% on this role, and I'm sure this was filmed long before the acquisition was going into play, and I'm sure by the time they wrapped up this season, they all were kind of realizing, this is probably going to be the finale of it all. So it's going to lead into our final topic on this week's PopXcast, and that is what is happening with the Marvel Comics shows on Netflix. And so this is kind of the big golden nugget. And if you've been hanging around for the very end, you probably, first and foremost, thank you for hanging out with us over an hour now. But it's our return podcast for 2019. So you know what? You're going to get a little bit of extra credit tonight. So what is happening here? And let's break it down. Me and Austin's going to kind of hash this out for you. So what happened just a few months back? Disney's Bob Iger and Fox and 20th Century Fox, 21st Century Fox, the merger. I'm sure you've heard about it. You've seen it. You've may have saw the article or the alerts or the news come across. Disney has officially purchased Fox, and effective January the 1st, 2019. Isn't that the date when everything was to be solidified with that acquisition?
I believe so. I believe everything went over at that point, and then in March or April, I believe, is when all of the things start taking place and taking hold, and Kevin Feige can get a hold of those characters. Okay,
so the paperwork's already done. We're just waiting on the legalities of everything, and by March, we'll start seeing, the MCU to some extent incorporating these X-Men, Fantastic Four, and all these other properties as well. So there was a really interesting article that was released by Netflix, I believe, the directors and producers of Daredevil, and they said that Charlie Cox will reprise his role as Daredevil and come back in some shape or form. We don't know what that's going to be, if that's going to be an animated or if that's going to be a cameo in an upcoming. Yeah. I don't know, but if they're going to do it for him, what's going to happen with the rest of the team?
Wouldn't it be cool, and this is just off the top of my head thought, would it not be cool if Marvel is seeing all of this backlash, sitting there and just taking it, and in the back of their minds they have something very special planned for all of these characters? Because regardless of who cut it and who peed off all of the fans and yada, 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 if Marvel said, and this is where they're going, right? They're going the space route after Endgame, because they have all this stuff for Guardians planned.
Captain Marvel.
All of that stuff. Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But they also said, Kevin Feige came out and said, we're going to focus also on the street level heroes. Now, who are the street level heroes?
Jessica Jones, Luke Cage.
Yes. Yeah. So what if we get either a movie or even in Spider-Man? What if we got a Daredevil cameo in Spider-Man? And I don't think that's going to happen, but just that concept, that idea, man. Marvel could be planning something very special because they love their fans. They're not going to let the fans sit here and get so upset, and they know how good Charlie Cox is, and they know how good John Bernthal is as Frank Castle.
Yeah.
I don't see them letting this stay the way.
Well, even
it is.
Mike Coulter as Luke Cage, dude, is amazing casting.
Even Iron Fist was getting better, and I know season 1 was a struggle, But season 2 was better.
Season 2 is a lot better.
Better. So
More comic accurate.
it was heading in the right direction. I don't see them now. If Netflix says, "Hey, we have the rights for these characters for 2 more years, and you can't have them," then I see Marvel recast it. I get that. But if there's no contractual obligations, MCU man, Kevin Feige, he knows what he's doing.
That's an interesting topic because I was reading something. I think it was on superherohype.com where they were talking about that there's a 2-year waiver there, where MCU Marvel Entertainment has to wait a 2-year term before they can reproduce those characters because, you know, those characters are on a paid service through a paid streamer provider, and, you know, they can't fully release those characters, and that gives them a 2-year window to be able to work around.
Hey man, I'll wait 2 years. If we get Charlie Cox back as Daredevil, I'll wait 4 years. That's fine. Here's my question. Is it 2 years to get these actors back as these characters, or 2 years just to get the characters back and Netflix keeps the rights to the actors as the characters? Because if that's the case, we'll never have Charlie Cox again.
I wonder if we can find, I wonder if there's a way to figure out and do some investigating of ourselves. Like,
we can be Jessica Jones.
We can be Jessica Jones and figure that out, because I would love to know that, because I know a lot of us in the MCU, you know, whether we're comic or DC fans or whatever, we've really grown attached to some of the storytelling, especially Charlie Cox as Daredevil. I think season 3 as Daredevil was insanely good.
It's phenomenal.
It was so good.
Oh my God.
It's tearing down the walls of what we know how it could be, and just seeing him suffer and grunt with blood, and him and Wilson Fisk just battling it out. It was amazing, dude. It was amazing. And
if Marvel's going to do what the people want, Daredevil won the People's Choice Award for Best Show of 2018. Give the people what they want. Bring him back.
And Vincent D'Onofrio, Kingpin, have to bring him back as Kingpin. He is the Kingpin, dude.
We got... with Into the Spider-Verse and Daredevil, we got 2 amazing Kingpins last year.
Yes, we did.
Amazing Kingpins.
Yes.
Great actor he is, man.
Man. But, you know, I think, though, kind of rounding it up and kind of bringing it all back, I think what's happening is, you know, with the acquisition, something we haven't talked about just yet is a brand new streaming service platform that's coming out in the end of this year. I think it's going to be slated for late summer or something like that. But here's the thing about this new Disney Plus, and it's probably going to be a game changer. Yeah. Not only are you getting Disney-related streaming content, you're getting Lucasfilm, Pixar, Marvel Entertainment, and everything that falls under the Disney umbrella in terms of animation or cinematic. Dude, and it's probably going to be like $9-12 a month, something like $9-10-12, something like.
You can take all my money.
I mean, you're going to get Star Wars. Well, we already know The Mandalorian is coming.
Yes.
That's already been done. Lucasfilm has already started production of... Go ahead.
Clone Wars renewed for a new season. When they announced that, I can't do it. I have no
Well, I mean, it's all going to be pushed to the new platform.
And what was so they have Loki, right?
Yes.
They have Scarlet Witch and Vision.
Scarlet Witch and Vision.
They announced, not officially, but they said they're working on a Falcon and Winter Soldier show. What else do you want, man?
With Sebastian, they're all coming back to reprise their roles.
All the actors. And then you look at the Disney remakes, doing live-action Lady and the Tramp, live-action Lilo and Stitch.
Dumbo, releasing in a few weeks.
Can't.
Yeah.
And this is a game changer, man. This is an absolute game changer. And I know people are going to get mad that they're pulling stuff off Netflix, man. You're going to have enough content on this streaming platform to spend an entire year on, and then you'll have more to watch. So
so that's what if you're wondering why all these are being canceled, that is the reason why. Yeah. Disney Plus is coming. Disney and Fox merger happened. All right. So Disney is going to have now their own platform where these characters in the future can reside.
Yes.
And so that's why, we know when Netflix started out with Daredevil Season 1 several years ago, none of us in the industry knew that a Disney-Fox merger would happen, or Disney would come on and, I don't want to say trump Netflix or Hulu or whatever, but deliver their own service with the content. Disney, what is it, owns like 60% of the content now that's being produced worldwide, whether it's Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, or whatever.
It's wild, man.
And Toy Story 4 is coming out too. Forget about it.
Here's what I was just sitting and thinking about. So Kevin Feige came out and said, we're not going to have R-rated content on the streaming platform. So kind of takes Daredevil, Punisher, all of that stuff out of the equation. But with Disney now owning Fox, Fox has control of Hulu.
Yes.
Disney now has control of Hulu. Hulu puts out R-rated stuff. And Kevin Feige said in an interview, if we're going to even think about doing something that's mature, it's going to Hulu. Could the Defenders shift over to Hulu down the line? Could that happen?
Ooh.
Is that a possibility?
Ooh.
Because I think it is.
Isn't that like their version of Touchstone Pictures where they push some of the other content out to the... Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I think
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of our buddies and faithful listeners and watchers over here on the chat, Sean. We always know Sean. He's so loyal to PopX, and he's here every episode. He said, wouldn't it be cool if they had a Nova Corps series on Disney Plus?
Take it. Take my money.
You get Nova Corps and Quasar and Star-Lord, and maybe a cameo by Groot or Rocket in there.
It's not like they don't have the budget for it. They're dropping hundreds of millions of dollars on all of these shows and movies, just like a movie budget.
Well, the acquisition was what, 72 billion. What was the number on that?
It was around 70 billion.
Yeah, it was insane. I think it was 71.4 billion or something like that comes to mind.
With all of these
insane money. So to answer the question, that's why you're seeing a lot of this. And don't be alarmed in the next few weeks, probably the March 1st, around that time you'll see, Netflix cancels Punisher. Just prepare yourself. It's going to happen. It has to happen. And then once Jessica Jones airs and premieres, I think it's in April or something like that.
Yeah.
Gone. So, well, they actually did that with Iron Fist. It was just a couple of weeks later after Iron Fist, and it was gone.
Right
so,
after.
yeah.
Right after.
So Punisher's actually living on borrowed time at the moment. So,
yeah,
sadly.
It is. But you know what, Joe? I think at the end of the day, 4 years from now, 5 years, we're going to look back and say, hopefully,
yes,
it all worked out. So I really hope we see these actors as these characters.
And before we wrap up on this topic, I do want to give a huge shout out and kind of homage and nod to DC Online as well, because they were the ones that started this trend when being their own creative content provider. DC Online, I think if it's like $9 or $10 a month, not only do you get like some of the greats for like Wonder Woman from the 70s, you get Christopher Reeve in 4K. You can stream all the old original Superman. New content, all the animated films that they have ever released. And we know there's a plethora of them. I love some of them.
Yeah.
We have Titans. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going into season 2 of Titans. Swamp Thing, Doom Patrol. Dude, so they are doing some really cool stuff as well. And I just don't want to sit here and be in the limelight, well, I'm a Marvel fan, so I'm only going to talk about Disney. No, Disney, you need to check out DC Online. Yes. DC Online's, and here's the coolest thing ever, and I hope that Disney does this with their Marvel branch. You can actually read comics in 4K HD on your screen.
Dude,
and it's just a tap of a little tap of the enter button on your thing, and you switch through the pages.
The interface is wonderful, man.
Yes, it is.
So many comics since I've had this app. I mean, the movies are great, and the original series are great. Doom Patrol is coming out this weekend, actually.
Yeah.
But comics, in my opinion, that's where the money is well spent for me.
And I think DC has been trying to play catch up for years and trying to just do what Marvel has done. 22 films under its belt in the MCU, and it's all coming to fruition on April the 27th. And, DC, unfortunately, and Warner Brothers haven't had that opportunity to set up a franchise that Kevin Feige, freaking genius. That's all I got to say.
He's brilliant.
So, all right. Austin, are you clear?
Wow, what a show, man.
Dude, it was a mega show, man.
Megalodon.
It was a Megalodon show. Oh my God. All right, so we're going to wrap this thing up. Mike, you got anything you want to add on the closing end of that?
Just real quick, just two real quick things. With all the different streaming services out there, there's actually one company that so far just been left in the dust with everything, and that's Apple.
Really?
Apple is trying massively to jump on this streaming market, and they just can't seem to do it.
They are.
And it was thrown out there. The only way they could possibly successfully do it is to buy Netflix.
Oh.
And that comes with a $250 billion price tag.
Wait, if they buy Netflix, wait a second. Apple and Disney are co-branded together. So if Apple buys Netflix...
I don't know legally how that would work, but this was just something I saw about a week ago, and that Apple is desperate to try and get on some kind of get into the streaming
Apple has
service.
a contract with Disney. That's why, you know, when you buy the Apple Watch, you have Disney characters on the Apple Watch, or, you know.
It may be something legally different.
That's the first time I've heard that, dude. That's insane.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm not shocked, though.
But
Yeah, I've heard many things about Apple. They're bringing in big time actors. I actually heard, I believe it was Jake Gyllenhaal. They just brought him on for a movie. They're trying to get David Fincher to direct. They're throwing in all of their chips. I just don't know if it's going to work out.
Man.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to catch up on that. But I mean, with the Disney streaming service, with all the stuff that is being taken away as far as the Marvel stuff, I don't think Netflix is really going to be hurting that bad. No. You know, and as far as they got their own amazing content, I mean, I love Netflix from day one. I've always had it.
Yeah.
You know, and so I don't really think that's going to be hurting. But there's one last thing that just came through on the news. I just got on a notification that it has been confirmed that Henry Cavill did film a cameo for Shazam.
No, you're kidding me.
And because of him departing DC, that may not appear.
Oh, no.
And while you were talking about the Punisher, it came through, and I was waiting for the
Oh
end to
my
throw
gosh.
that
Well,
out.
you heard it here first, folks. That's literally right off the wire. Oh, man. But see, if it's owned by DC and Warner Brothers, why wouldn't it be featured? Because the thing was already cast.
Yeah, they said it has to do with him departing DC, that they may not include it in the film, the cameo.
Oh.
So, but it was confirmed that he did film a cameo for Shazam.
Dude.
Well, that sucks if we don't get to see it. Well, it better be in the freaking bonus features of the box set. Anyway, Mike, thanks for that wonderful news.
That's awesome, though, Mike.
That is cool, though.
That'll go away.
No, man. No, don't go away. We need you around here. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this thing up. Mike, thanks so much for all you do, dude. I love that dude.
That was awesome.
He's my brother from another mother.
That was awesome.
So let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. We are going to... 89's in the books, bro. Let's do this thing.
Yeah, wow,
so it was really a good show. I'm pretty happy with it. And we reviewed The Punisher. I'm just making sure that we did everything because we had a lot tonight. I know. Austin, wrap us up.
All right, guys, I'm Austin Burke at The Burkinator. You guys can search and find me. Just did an award show on my YouTube channel where I gave you guys the nominations. And then in 2 weeks, the day before the Oscars, because I'm trying to overshadow the Oscars, we're going to be dropping the winners. And you may see a similar face. Joseph Burke might be presenting one of those awards. So tune in and find out. We are also part of an amazing network called the Gonna Geek Network. For all things even more geeky, head over to GonnaGeek.com and check out some amazing podcasts on our home network. You guys can also connect with us on social media. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and Pinterest, all at PopXcast. Send us comments and suggestions via email at popxcast@gmail.com. And for future and past shows, visit our official website at www.popxcast.com. And Joe, once again, thank you for being an awesome host and an awesome show.
Oh, you stop it. Seriously, you're so fantastic. All right, I am Joseph Burke, a.k.a. at Joseph Burke Arts. All over the web, that's at JOSEPHBURKEARTS. All over the web, and of course, hats off to my always amazingly talented Team PopX, Mr. Austin Burke down here in Lexington, Kentucky, and Mike Ippolito all the way over in parts unknown in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, you're welcome, Clarice. All right.
That was great.
I can smell your perfume, Clarice. Anyway, all right. So we're going to try to be back here in 2 weeks, guys, on the 24th, and that's going to be probably we'll be recapping some of the stuff that happened to the Oscars, maybe some news that come along as well, and we'll definitely be back in March for some really awesome Captain Marvel stuff. Really quick, did you see Glass?
I did see Glass.
What did you think about it?
I liked it until the end.
Yes, ditto, same.
But
I was going to do a show on Glass, but I'm like, nah.
Yeah,
I thought the first 2/3 were super well made, and
Yeah.
the end for me just was like,
Yeah. It was me. It kind of left me like, oh.
Yeah. Overall, though, it was pretty cool.
Well, that ended quickly, didn't it?
Well, that was quick.
That was quick. All this build up for years 20 years in the making, and it's just dead in a daggone puddle of water outside in the front of the yard. Goodbye, Bruce Willis. All right. So we'll see you here in 2 weeks right here on PopXcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading, and we'll see you next time right here on PopXcast. Bye. From everyone at PopXcast, thanks for listening. Please make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/PopXcast, and click the follow button to get our live stream notifications. Drop us an email, popxcast@gmail.com. Be sure to check out this and more great content on the Gonna Geek Network at GonnaGeek.com. Get your geek on!